What is everybody? It is Kabir146 here again in a video, and today it's going to be me doing a review of Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman DVD review. It's going to be a DVD review. I picked up this documentary the other day, and before I get into any reviewing of the DVD or doing anything, I'm going to be uploading lots of videos, like possibly 3 to 4 videos. I have the WrestleMania Experience Part 2 coming. It's probably that video will be up before this one will. I'll be doing maybe Part 3, or either that, or SummerSlam predictions. Either way, one of them are going up tonight, because I want to have videos that I can sit on, because I will be gone. I won't have my computer with me from Saturday to Saturday on vacation, and I really want you guys to have videos to watch, like, because you guys can have a load of videos to watch. Like, you can watch, I will not be doing a SummerSlam review, so you guys can watch all the 3 WrestleMania experience videos for right now, and then I'll upload more parts later. So probably Part 2, you can watch the DVD review, you can watch a topical video that I have put up, or another one like that. So to some degree, I'll have all this stuff going on, so you guys can have stuff to watch. And yeah, so enjoy this review, as we're going to be talking about Paul Heyman. Now, so far, I'm going to go ahead and read the back. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I have a lot to say. Now, on the back of this right here, Paul Heyman wrote this himself. Long before my client, Brock Lesnar, and with a lot of letters, conquered the Undertaker streak of WrestleMania, I earned a reputation as a person who directed superstars to success. Except Curtis Axel, Ryback, and Cesaro. So this year, while continuing to guide superstars to the bright lights of superstardom, I found time to give you a front row seat into the greatest mind sports entertainment has ever seen. And then the second paragraph, find out how, like, his life story, basically, how he became an attorney's son, and find out how an attorney's son from Scarsdale, New York, infiltrated sports entertainment as a teenager and become one of the most revolutionary forces of all time. And then ECW, blah, 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 blah. The artwork on here is exceptionally well, and you get a good light. The voice of the voiceless, Paul Heyman and CM Punk. The one behind the 1 and 21 and 1 with him and Brock Lesnar. I love the artwork right here. Then you have the different DVD artwork behind it as well. You have him with a director's, I guess, clip thingy, I don't know. Then you have him holding a microphone right there. And I'm a big fan of the artwork right here. I think it's pretty funny and pretty cool. Then you have him in a director's chair that says Heyman on it. So yeah, it's really cool. The artwork and stuff like that. I like how it's kind of simple. It's white and it's got the red and it's got the black. Kind of like it's a really cool look. I like the way it looks. And the documentary is just exceptionally well. It's well done, and it's not rushed. It's a good documentary. It goes on a while. They take time on each one of their segments and stuff like that. Everything is timed perfectly well. I'll just go ahead and talk about the documentary first. Survivor, how he talked about how his mother was a Holocaust survivor, and how he was born in New York and stuff like that. And then he learned, and he found out when he went to his bar mitzvah. I have no idea. I'm not Jewish, so he saw how he was a photographer, and because he started his own printing press, I guess, business for the money he got. A promoter where he, because at Studio 54, which is like a club or whatever, he started promoting wrestling for the first time. Then he became a manager, because Bam and Bigelow inspired him to be a manager. And so that's how his managing career kind of began, but he didn't see himself as a manager. He went to Memphis and then managed a couple other guys and a tag team, AWA. He was there for a short period of time. WCW, of course, they talked about the Dangerous Alliance, the Paul E. Dangerously kind of thing that he did there. And talk about being an announcer with Jim Ross in the early years before he was an announcer with Jim Ross in 2001. And then after that, talks about how he left and why he left. And then it goes to the ECW, and that's a really good portion of how. And then the guys like Tommy Dreamer and Joey Styles and all those kind of guys, and even Raven was on there. He even talked about how much of a creative genius the guy is, and how awesome Paul Heyman is as a promoter, and however that he wasn't a good financial kind of guy where he would be able to pay you a lot of money or whatever, and checks would be behind. And some really good stories come out of this portion of the ECW, and it's a big part because Paul Heyman, that was the biggest part of his career, being the promoter, the booker, and the president of ECW before Todd Gordon. They had Todd Gordon in there. They had Ron Buffon or something like that, who was like the producer or like executive producer or something like that. So that was a really good part of the ECW documentary. That's one of the best parts of the documentary. That's, to me, I fully believe that, because it's just such a huge part of it. It takes a long while. Like, I think like the ECW part was like at least 15 to 20 minutes long, and it was just so good. It was so well done. A team mentality also, again, as another chapter in here, talks about ECW, Rebels, because it goes from ECW, team mentality, Rebels, common, and you know, right there. Team mentality and Rebels is where in ECW is like 3 chapters of a long, prolonged talk about ECW, how they were a team and how you weren't working for Paul, you're working with Paul, and how they got sued a lot of times and stuff like that. So it's a really good part of the documentary as well. Then it talks about how he became a commentator and stuff like that, and how he purposely tried to get JR angry, and how they had such a good chemistry working together. They talk about how he became a writer for SmackDown, and how the ratings, they beat Raw in the 2003-2004 years, and it was just it was a very good portion of how you had Stephanie McMahon talk about Paul Heyman and how he was a very creative genius. However, you know, different things like that, and other like Vince McMahon and stuff like that, those guys were in there as well. And it was just so good, like talking about like the ECW and the, like when he first got at WWE, when he was kind of like a rebel and rebellious and stuff like that to other writers and stuff like that, and how he purposely did stuff to get people angry, as many people explain how Paul was when he first got there. So that was also another good part of the documentary. Then talks about how he got put to OVW because he still had a lot of years on his contract. Then talk about how he discovered Brock Lesnar because of Taz, and then, you know, he became his manager again. And then new ECW, how it got launched in 2006. That was such a good part of the documentary, because it talked about how ECW, if it was called anything else, it would have been fine. It would have been a nice little wrestling show. But it was because it was called ECW, it couldn't live up to its old hype. And it just, and that's exactly what it was. It was the WWE ECW, and Tommy Dreamer put it so well, how it was, ECW was the child. And because Paul Heyman got divorced from ECW, they had a new stepfather, and that was WWE. And now, because of that, it was just, Paul Heyman wanted to do something with it, and then WWE really wanted to do something else with it. And, you know, it just goes hand in hand with CM Punk in there, and Paul Heyman, and you know, everything like that. It's just really good, and it's a really good thing that you must see. A businessman talks about how when he went away, after 2006, 2007, 2006, after the December to Dismember thing, how he became a businessman, like I think it was like something had to do with Larry, like it's like some production thing where he produces stuff on a website or whatever. It's pretty good. How he's a father, of course, it's just self-explanatory, but it talks about his kids return to WWE, and like how Brock Lesnar had wanted him back there, and how he's embracing the moment as the next and the final chapter of the DVD for the documentary and stuff, and talks about how he's managing other current superstars, and how, and you know, they have a lot of good people to interview, like a Renee Young or a Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is in the documentary, and Stephanie McMahon, CM Punk, Curtis Axel, you know, all of these other guys and stuff like that. It's just so great. It's just a really good part of the documentary as well. Like this, to me, this documentary isn't the best documentary, like, isn't great, but it's not like the greatest documentary. It's not Rise and Fall of ECW. It's not Stone Cold Steve Austin, bottom line of his popular superstar of all time, but it's a really good documentary. Definitely, probably top 15, maybe top 10, but it's definitely a good documentary that you must see. And this too, his AWA days in 87, 1992 in WCW, 94 in ECW as well, and then more stuff in ECW, which basically it's his days from AWA, WCW, and ECW into the end of into that run. Of course, also special features. I'll talk about photos of Vince Sr. and Andre riding in Classy Freddie Blassie's car, Trouble in Memphis, the Mole borrowing time conference call, Paul Heyman guy. It was just, it's really good. The special features are great too. I don't have the Blu-ray. Maybe there's more special features on the Blu-ray. There's teasers in here for some real, I don't know what reason necessarily. And then disc 3 is basically his return or his debut in WWE for 2001. You know, of course, he was in when ECW invaded the WWF in 95, 96. So this is before that, and he made his return or debut in 2001, and then it talks about more of its time and his great promos from 2012 and on. And he has matches on here, the Midnight Express, the original versus the new, Hardy Boys versus Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman at Judgment Day 2002, and then CM Punk versus Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman. So yeah, it's definitely a good documentary. Disc 2 and 3 are pretty good. I'd say Disc 2 is probably, I think that's like the redheaded stepchild in this scenario. Disc 3 is really good, however, because there's a lot of different, better, I guess, segments on Disc 3. Disc 2, however, is good. You should watch Disc 1. Is definitely the best one out of it. So overall, this documentary is just great. I suggest or I recommend you buy it if you haven't already. I know there's been a lot of people reviewing it on here and stuff like that, and I just know that this is a good documentary. I think you should really pick it up right now if you haven't already. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. More videos to come. Make sure to check out the WrestleMania experience videos that I'll have a link in the description box below. Me day in the life videos and me going to Bourbon Street, Anything Goes show, meeting Anything Goes show for the first time. Also, me arriving and going on the way. You can see all the stuff beforehand, before I went to the story behind me going to WrestleMania 30. It's a really good, compelling story, and I love it. And then after that, I'll be doing another video soon. I have no idea, probably going to be another review or anything among that lines or predictions or another part in the WrestleMania experience. I'm not sure. But this is going after WrestleMania Part 2, WrestleMania 30 experience video, day in life. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys viewing this video. And when I'm gone, you know, for the week, you'll be able to have to watch this. So yeah, thank you for watching. Deuces.